Tom Newton, Down Times Radio.
Thank you, Prime Minister. A question to Sir Patrick and Jonathan Van-Tam first. The success of step 4 would seem to depend on when the peak arrives and when it starts decreasing, at a time which no one really seems to be clear. There's been estimates of mid-August, estimates end of August. Is it right to say that the next crucial date we should all look out for is the beginning of September, when schools start to come back? Because if cases haven't started to decrease by then, we're still rising, then that would have to be the moment you'd need to step in and reduce transmission by imposing restrictions again. And to the Prime Minister, your announcement just now on mass events, vaccination passports is mandatory for mass events. What other mass events are you thinking about? What about football stadiums? Would they be mandatory there? A lot of enclosed spaces at halftime where you're getting a burger. Up the Emirates, for example, you're very packed in. And if you're going to do this, why not do it now? Why wait till September? Why give 10 weeks of mass spreading? Because nightclubs have already told you they're not going to do this.
Thanks. Is it Chris or Patrick who's going to go first, please? Sorry.
Well, I'll have a go, and then Jonathan may want to come in as well on this. The timing of the peak is uncertain, as you rightly say, and it varies in the models over August at different times, and it could even be you get a peak and then it goes down, it comes back up again a little bit as the step 4 effects kick in. So that's really quite uncertain. But most of the models are suggesting that there should be a peak and start seeing some sort of either plateau or decrease over August. And at that point, if things continue to increase at the rate they are, and as I said at the outset, there are something like 50,000 or near 50,000 cases per day or positives per day at the moment being detected. With a doubling time of 11 days, you can see that gets to pretty high numbers very quickly, and another doubling time would take you to even higher numbers, of course, that would be really quite worrying. So we would like to see some flattening of this, some decrease in the trajectory, and ideally, as you rightly say, you'd like to see this coming down by September, as return of schools would add another pressure on top of that.
Yeah. Thanks, Patrick. So what I'd really add to that is this huge uncertainty about how high the peak will be, Tom, and how long it's going to take us to get there. But the reason why the modelers tell us there is this uncertainty at the moment is because so much of it is going to be driven by human behaviour over the next 4 to 6 weeks. So really it is kind of in everybody's hands, yours and mine. If we are gradual and cautious and we don't tear the pants out of this just because we're glad to have our full freedoms back, then we will materially affect the size and shape of the remainder of this epidemic curve and where the peak occurs and how big it is. It is literally in the hands of the public in terms of the behaviours. And I will just urge people to be gradual and people to be cautious to the extent possible. That doesn't mean you can't have fun. I was back at the Boston United new stadium on Saturday having a bit of fun. It can be done, but gradually and cautiously, please.
I want to echo that completely. I think JVT has totally summed it up. And just on the point about nightclubs, I don't particularly want to single out any sector or business, Tom. But as I said earlier on, there is evidence from other countries that have had a particular problem with the opening up of nightclubs. So what we're repeating today is we want nightclubs to behave responsibly, use the COVID NHS app. We reserve the right to go to mandation for that if we have to, and we may well want to change to a certification regime for that kind of setting for nightclubs once everybody over 18 has had the opportunity to get 2 jabs, which will be by the end of September. And I do think that that's a sensible approach. But on the other hand, we don't want now, as you suggested, simply to close nightclubs or to keep them closed. I don't think that would be the right thing to do. To get back to what I said earlier in the argument, you have to ask yourself, if not now, when? We have the opportunity now, the fire break of the school holidays, plus we have the risk of opening up in the colder months, and the point of the epidemic at this stage, or the feature of the epidemic at this stage, now that so many people have been vaccinated, is that if you keep on restrictions, all you're really doing, in a way, is not preventing hospitalizations, but you're simply postponing them. So you're back to the "if not now, when" argument, Tom. It is a difficult judgment, but we have to proceed cautiously in the way that JBT has, I think, really perfectly laid out.